Hopefully everybody start piling in here in a second. I hope this is going out. Should be coming live pretty soon. All right. Pops is in the house. You're live. Awesome. All right. Forrest is here already too. Appreciate that. Hope everybody had a great weekend and starting of the first of the week here. Been busy the last few days getting stuff together for the convention here in about 2.5 weeks or so. I just wanted to I've been trying to get some stuff out. We've been talking about the last few weeks. Went up to the shop, found some stuff. I hadn't found all of it, but I found a few of it, and we'll go over some of that here in a few minutes. We'll let some people come in. Hope everybody's finding some good stuff, or if there's anything particular y'all want to talk about, y'all can get it in early, and we'll talk about it. Or if there's anything in particular y'all want to talk about during this show, then we will. And like I said, just put in the chat. I'm trying to put it on my phone also to see if I can go a little faster with the chat. And I've got it on here too. So, but anyway, kind of crazy. A few weeks ago in the live, somebody was talking about the Johnny Lightning Creepsters. And I was going through a bunch of loose stuff looking for actually the Porsche Redlines up at the shop. And it ended up finding one of the, this is one of the Johnny Lightning Creepsters. And I didn't even know I had it. And I'd picked it up probably a long time ago just because, I mean, it's pretty wild looking. And so that's pretty wild. We were just talking about that. I didn't even know what they were talking about the other day about it. And then I found it over laying in a bunch of odd stuff. I found some steering rigs, and I found I was looking for the P917s to go over to. I've got my Blackwall versions, but the Redline ones I didn't find yet. They're probably with my motorhome Redline that I'm looking for also. I know I've got another case of Redline somewhere up in the shop. Randy's in the house. What's up, Randy? So, like I said, that was pretty crazy to find one of those after we just had that discussion. I did bring down my two of the P917s. You're right. I've got one of these, I believe, in yellow. And I may have a blue one, but they're both in pretty rough shape. But I didn't find them yet up at the shop. I did bring the Blackwall versions down. Two variations on the Blackwall version of the Porsche. I don't know if y'all can see that there. They got a slight different color. Plus, they've got two different windshields in them. One's got a blue and one's got like a green color windshield. You can see the tampos on them are little different colors. So, pretty cool on them. And yeah, it is a tough casting to find in the enamel colors. That's for sure. So I think I've got the yellow one and maybe a blue one up at the shop. But they were in pretty rough shape. I know that. But it's been a while since I've seen them. I packed all that stuff up years ago, and I got that. Like I said, I'm looking for my motorhome Redline too with that. What's up, Chris? Easy Pickings in the house. What's up, Chris? I've been, like I said, trying to get some stuff ready for the convention. I've trying to find my rest of my paperwork from some of my prototype. What's up, Woody? Woody's in the house too. I'm thinking about I don't usually sell prototypes, but I'm thinking about letting the Golf. I don't collect this Volkswagen, and I bought this at a convention years ago. I've got the paperwork. Whatever year these come out, what year I bought this at the convention, and I'm gonna try to find the paperwork. I may end up trading it around to get something else that I want for the collection, but and I'm gonna take some more prototype stuff to show off while we're there because got a few people wanting to see them, so that'll be pretty exciting. But anyway, I got some steering rigs out, and I don't know if y'all wanted to go over steering rigs a little bit. I've got those out. I've been kind of, like I said, trying to get through a lot of stuff. I got a couple of steering rigs I don't know a lot about. I don't know a ton about steering rigs. I know I used to collect them way back whenever they were affordable. And I ended up selling all the ones I had in the boxes and stuff. And these are the ones that I ended up keeping. But I found these two in a box to themselves. And I can't remember why these two were by themselves. I don't have any haulers for them. I've got a few more somewhere, I know, because I don't have all my haulers. But this one is pretty rough. But there's a reason that I had these separate. But I don't remember what the reason was. So if y'all know a lot more about steering rigs than I do, let me know, and what the deal is with those two. I also got, I brought a couple of the other steering rigs down. I've got some more, like I said, somewhere. This is the obviously the shell steering rig. This is probably, I would say it's the most common, but it's probably the most recognizable steering rig that they made. Um, and then the Arco steering rig, also pretty recognizable steering rigs. Some of the more common that you'll see. Got the Eagle one back here, and that's got the wrong cab on it. I know it's supposed to have a gray cab. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this white cab may have come in the single pack steering rig. What's up, Carl? Carl knows more about the steering rigs, I'm sure, than I do. These are just some of the rigs that I found trying to go. I've been trying to get them out so I could bring them and show them to y'all. And I've got some more. I know I've got a few more because I didn't have all the trying to find all the cabs and then of course the different bodies, but I found one box with them in there. I don't know if y'all remember the trucking company versions. I may still have all those, except for I did sell the Porsche one. I remember back in the day. It's been a while since I sold the Porsche, but that was whenever they had first spiked. I didn't know they were going to be crazy price like they are now. Of course, everything in the late 70s, all the 80s stuff, and even the 90s stuff has really picked up in the last. Randy says 1/64 scale for real. They're pretty close. It doesn't say what the scale is, but I'm going to say they're pretty close. They are 1/64, like Hot Wheels scale, obviously. But this was a color changer, and this flag was in there when I got it, so I just left it. This has been played with, but you don't see that one very often. Like I said, Carl may know more about this stuff than I do. But the color changer one was a little tougher to find. And that flag didn't go on it. It was just in there, so I just left it. I just think it's cool. A kid played with it, enjoyed it. And I've got the couple other trucking companies here in the back. Here's the auto hauler, the gray one. And then I've got the new car company, the green one here. And I want to think, you might remember, some of y'all may remember, is the Aries wagon, I think, come with the green one. And I can't remember what come with the gray one. I want to think it was an Omni or something like that. But anyway, these are a few of them that I found when I was going through some stuff this week, trying to bring it down. Carl, I don't know if you know steering rigs. Can you tell me what that one come from? I had this one and this one set aside in a box by itself, and they may have been single pack cards like the color changer or whatever, but I can't remember those for some reason. But all the boxed ones that I used to collect, I've sold those. Of course, back 20 years ago, steering rigs were pretty reasonable. You could pick them up in the box, $30 to $50. You can buy them loose for 10 to 15, $20, something like that. Not no more. They're, covering that 100+ range now for a complete nice one. You can get You can get a boxed one for about 125 up. You know, just depends. Uh, but yeah, the Porsches I brung down. We also talked about the. It's pretty funny. We was talking about the Japanese stuff the other day, and when I was going through some stuff, I found a box that had three of the old Japanese pack cars that was only released in Japan, and there's quite a few different ones of those I know, but I had three of them in one of the boxes here. I don't know what much about these. I just always like the cards on those and the vehicles. I think I've got kit a kit car somewhere. I'm almost 100% sure, but I'm not 100%. I don't know exactly where it's at right this second. And then here's the Mask Rider. Now this one, the blister's pulling away from the board there on that one. So, all right. Do you have the new Freightliner car hauler? I'm not 100% sure that I have that, Randy. Um, the as far as the car haulers, I think the last thing I bought was probably the duck and roll. If you're talking about the newer stuff. Um, what he said, the bikes are pretty cool. Yeah, those are neat. They said those were Japanese release. I think they were limited, but I can't remember to how many. It it probably says right there, but I can't really read it. I looked at quite a few of those at the convention or what was it, 2 weeks ago now, last weekend. I, I looked at some of those. They're getting pretty expensive. 2025. Yeah, I probably don't have that Freightliner. I did buy one that had the speedboat in the back, just because I thought it was neat, and then the duck and roll. I think it's the last two that I bought of the. Oh, are you talking about the black one with from the Red Line Club, Randy? I'm sorry, I can't remember. The newer stuff, I haven't really chased a whole lot of that stuff. If I see it and I think it's cool, I'll pick it up. But I've been up here messing around with all this, trying to get some of these prototypes ready, and said deciding what I want to let go of, and I'm gonna plan on taking some stuff up to the convention. And obviously, we try to have a big room full all the time at the convention. I'm going to do a recap of. I'm going to do a recap of the last year's convention. I've had a lot of people message me asking me questions about the conventions and stuff. So, put out a three-part series last year, so it's almost been a year. So this week I made a video that condensed them all together. And sorry about that. I got to mute my phone. Land lease says it's around $100. I'm not a hundred. I'm not. I'm not for sure. I'm sure it's pretty expensive. I know that black one that's out is pretty sharp, and then there was a chase one of that I've seen a lot of people doing displays with that are really cool. The Bunker Diecast channel. What's up, Diecast community? First time catching a live. Great variety of Hot Wheel classics on display. I appreciate it, Bunker Diecast. Yeah, last week some of the guys were asking about the Porsche Redline, and these are black walls, but I wanted to show you the two different variations on those. I went up to the shop to try to find my P917 Redline, so I'm pretty sure I got a yellow and red one. I mean, a yellow and blue one that's pretty rough, but couldn't find them. But I did end up finding another one of my black wall variations there. One's got a blue window, one's got the green, and then of course the dampos there are a little different. So, but they are tough to find with the metal base, like you all said last week. I remember after we talked about it for a little bit. Dial Star Diecast, what's up? So if there's anything y'all want to talk about or know about, just let me know. Like I said, I got the steering rigs out. We talked about those last week. We was talking about some of them. We talked about some of the P917s. We talked about this, which was pretty crazy. Um, I can't 100% remember who said something about the Creepsters, Johnny Lightning, and I happened to, when I was looking for some of this stuff, I ended up finding a box and this was in it. And I didn't even know what it was until I looked it up after I got back. I just must have picked it up just because it was crazy looking. And I also, somebody was talking about the Hot Wheels last week that they were about that long and they would move in the package. I remember the package and they would move. I looked it up to try to find out what they were called. And I thought that was pretty cool because I had never seen. I remember seeing them whenever they were in the. I'm trying to see what I wrote, if I wrote them down, what they were called. But I remember seeing them in the stores, but I never bought any of them. So just like anything else, I'd say that stuff's going to be super expensive later. It seems like everything that's like a short run and then they discontinue it and sometimes they mark it down. That seems to be the most expensive stuff in 10 or 15 years. So checking in from Huntington Beach, California. Awesome. That's cool. So got a couple of people from California in here. Chris is from Cali too. So, but yeah, I've like I said, I've been busy trying to get some of the prototype stuff out. Trying to find all the paperwork to the prototypes. A lot of people are pretty skeptical without some of the paperwork. So, trying to find the paperwork for that, especially the Golf Volkswagen, because I think I may end up selling that one or trading it around for something else I want for the collection more. I pulled out some breadline prototype stuff to take. I like to take them. Looking for the rest of the paperwork for them to take, said so people can get a couple pictures of those or whatever. Um, anyway, trying to think. I've been looking for another Transformer Beetle without the face on it. I got that one from the convention. I got somebody else looking for one also. So, and then trying to think of what else. Still hadn't got the case fixed yet. I'm hoping to get that done in the next little bit, but it might not be before the convention. It's going to be hectic. Like I said, we're only a couple weeks away. Are any of y'all going to the convention this year? And then what kind of castings are y'all hunting right now, or what exactly are y'all needing? Are y'all looking for your collections? If there's anything, like I said, y'all want to talk about as far as the older stuff, I've got plenty of it. New stuff, um, picked up quite a bit of stuff I'm going to have to open soon. Um, I was looking, like I said, up to the shop looking, and you find all kinds of stuff. What's up, Woody? Yeah, Woody said he's bouncing back and forth. He's watching another live also. That's awesome. I'm just glad you come in for the support, Woody. It's awesome. Anyway, I did find something kind of interesting. Maybe somebody knows more about this than I do. These may not be anything, but I never had remember seeing these. I can't remember exactly where I picked these up at, but I love the artwork on these. And then, of course, you got the Z-Wiz, and then I have the Poison Pinto, and then the Son-of-Gun there. And I know this has to be newer because this Son-of-Gun right here, I think this color of it come out in like 2003 or 5 or something. But anyway, I picked those up somewhere down the road, but I don't know where they come from. If anybody knows, let me know. But I love the artwork. Find all kinds of stuff whenever you're out there digging, trying to find specific boxes with things in it, and all of a sudden you come across something. It's like, oh, I forgot about that, or and that's the whole goal is to get through everything out there in at the shop. I did trying to think what else I've dug up out from the shop I brought up. I tried to put some light in here. I'm gonna try to get this. I'm gonna try to get this rainbow straightened out. And like I said, I want to shoot a video on this will be my first of the Redline videos, and I'm going to start with the Beanie Bandit, and I'm hoping to go through a lot of them pretty soon. Forrest says I have a... let me look back over here. Let me get this back up. Sorry. It says those are pretty cool. Yeah. Forrest says I have 4 bike set that has the hook that drops down into the launcher, and the riders are Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hog, and Shark a Skeleton Rider. 6-armed cyborg dose, and remember the name of them. I don't exactly remember what those were, Forrest. I kind of remember what you're talking about because I think I've got a silver black looking version of it, and it had a little hook on the bottom that was like when it was rolling it'd be under, but then whenever you pull it back it just kind of... I believe I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what they were called. Trying to get through the Volkswagens. I think we've decided to keep the Volkswagens, but I think I've about decided to sell the Texas Drive ones. So I may be putting those out pretty soon. I found, let's see, a couple extra supers and some other stuff just to, like I said, anything that I don't really collect that I've had, and if it's not in, I'm not into it, I'll be fixing that at the, I'll be taking that probably to the convention, and like I said, trying to get rid of a lot of that and find some more stuff for the collection that fits what I like better. But yeah, y'all tell me what exactly y'all are looking for, or what kind of, some of the newer faces I hadn't seen in here. What do y'all collect? Black Walls, Real Riders, all of it, or if there's certain castings that y'all are looking for, or something hard to find. Um, if there's anything specific y'all are looking for, like I said, I'll be going to the convention in about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I can always look out for it. Like I said, it's that hard to find stuff. That's some of the only places I can find it there is at the conventions. But anyway, I don't want to bore everybody just rambling. I did find an extra one of these. Now my dad had found these back in the day, this, and he found an extra he had the Jaguar. I think he found both of those, matter of fact. And those are extra ones. Trying to think of something else that's I did pull out some of I'm gonna take a lot of my Blackwall eras, some of my really cool ones to show off. I've had a couple of people asking about those, so they wanted to take a couple pictures of the double tempoed Hotbird was one of the ones that a couple people was wanting pictures of, so I'm taking it. And the Mountain Dew Stalker, missing most of the tampos. That's the few things that I'm taking that people had asked about. Um, these are all prototypes here to take. That was the Mountain Dew Stalker I was talking about era. So I'm gonna take it. And then the Hotbird, a lot of people like the double stamped Hotbird, and that's probably got to be close to my most favorite era ever. And that's a pretty tough one to find. I've not ever seen another one. I'm sure they're out there. If y'all know much about the Blackwall stuff or hot ones, the blue Mustang is tough to find, but this one doesn't have any interior. It's supposed to have a yellow interior in it. So stuff like that's what I'm going to take, some of that impossible stuff. And this is pretty crazy. He's talking about a Porsche. Of course, this is the Demon or the Prowler. I always call it the Demon. This is the Prowler Redline. I mean, sorry. This is the Prowler Redline. I don't know if y'all can see that there. But when they put it together, they put a Porsche engine in it. And the reason you can tell it's the Porsche, it's got the headrest right there on the front. So that's pretty wild era there. I don't know if that's coming through real good. But that's a pretty wicked era. Something you don't hardly ever see. And then this one right here would be pretty rare to find. This is a French piece, and the BP is supposed to be stamped right there on the back window, and they stamped it on the window and the car. So pretty cool. That's the kind of stuff I'm taking with me as far as arrows go to show. My wife says 2.5 weeks until the convention, April 23rd through 27th. I plan on being there. I don't know, is any of y'all going to the convention? If you are, let me know, because I'd like to talk to y'all while we're there. Lately I've been looking for NHRA cars at the flea market and antique shops. That's cool, Randy. Um, the closest thing to NHRA car right now that I've found lately would be this one. Just because I bought it just because it had that artwork on the side. I just thought that was cool. Um, I like the old NHRA cars, like the Speed Demons. All that stuff is pretty awesome. I did put one of the Speed Demons back over here. This is probably one of my favorite Speed Demons. Of course, you know I'm pretty into the Trans Am stuff, obviously. That was a pretty short run piece there. This one was. All of these really was a short run on the Trans Am there. The one I really like to find on that is the I'm sorry, my brain just went. The one I would like to have is the Troy Lee designs on that one. Yeah, Randy, it is sold out. But I don't. This is the first year, and since I started in 2000, this was my first convention I went to was 2003. So 22 years. This is the first convention I haven't had a ticket. They sold out online just really quick. Um, yeah, you can room to room. You can. It's free to roam the rooms. Yeah, but the going to the getting the convention cars and all that is you'll just have to buy them aftermarket there at the show. That'll be probably the cheapest place. It'll probably be the cheapest place to get them when they first hit for about 6 months, and then they'll slowly start coming down. It's just about the way it always works. Now there'll be some I'm sure that'll eventually stay, up there, but most of them drop down pretty quick. Um, I think the only convention car I kept from last year was the 55 gasser, and I had it laying right over here, I thought, but I don't see it right off the bat for some reason. Sorry, I don't mean to keep you off in, but anyway, yeah. Do you have an original Nitty Gritty Kitty in Aqua? You know what? I don't know if I've got it in Aqua. I will have to look up there and see. Uh, I'm looking at the wall here. It's I got some Giovanni cases covering the wall over here to the right, and it's and I've got a spinner case. It starts from a spinner case, and my Sweet 16 are mostly there, and then they go on up start to the top. I'm about to redo all these cases, so it'll be a lot easier to find stuff while y'all are talking about it. Um, I do have a resin prototype of a Nitty Gritty Kitty there. I'm gonna take it also to show it. I've got to find the paperwork to all this because when I showed it the first time last year, a lot of people were saying you needed, they wanted to see the paperwork just to verify. Most people knows who I am. They know I'm not trying to lie about it, but I'm not trying to really sell it either. So, um, Randy says, you two going for all days. I'm going up Wednesday. Um, we're going up. I'm going up Wednesday night and staying till Sunday. I'm going to try to go. Now there is a show on Sunday that you can go to, Randy. But I'll be up there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'll obviously try to film our video quite a bit. This week's video comes out Thursday. Is going to be the a recap of the convention from last year. I had 3-part video last year, and I'm putting all those together and making one video because I had a lot of people asking about downhill racing and the custom contest. The custom contest. And the Sunday show, basically, it was the last video. So I'm putting all that together. So it's going to be another long video, uh, probably over an hour long. But like I said, y'all don't have to watch it all. You can fast forward to the parts you like watching. And I kind of go over what I find each night there. It's kind of cool to kind of go back and watch that. It's already been a year. And a lot of this stuff that's in my case that I carry up there, I don't really move a whole lot between last year and this year. It's been crazy like that. So my goal is to get everything out down here to get it to where I can enjoy it. And then whenever we're having these chats with everybody here, I'm hoping to be able to bring it out and show everybody whatever they want to talk about. I won't have everything everybody talks about, but I like to have a good variety. And of course, all the old Blackwall and Redline Real Rider stuff. Um, but I did bring a couple of more. This is the cab for the red lines. I don't know if y'all remember the heavyweight red line. And it's got the windshield there that goes to it. And that's pretty cool. You don't see a lot of the red line resin prototypes floating around much. So that's kind of why it's kind of some of my favorite protos. But you can see that that's the piece that goes there. And then that's look, of course I'm going to drop it. But that stuff is the stuff I like to have that a lot of people it's just got lucky and got it from one of the original engineers or designers back in the day. And I ended up buying a lot of stuff from him. All these basically come from his collection or where he worked there. Really wasn't collecting it. He was cleaning out his building and he found a box of a lot of the prototype stuff. So I ended up buying a lot of that stuff from him. There's remember a Sizzlers. This is the live wire resin prototype of it. So, but anyway, I plan on having all that there so people can check it out. It's always fun to let people, see it. They can show you stuff that you don't see a whole lot of. It's probably the only place you can really see all that stuff, and and then a lot of people will enjoy it, seeing it. I don't really take it to the Hot Wheels shows if I set them up and stuff, just because I'd want to be right there with it. But anyway, I did forget about this last year's convention. I did pick up. I guess it might have been the year before last. Now is I was looking for it. Is my white interior on the Roger Dodger. If you know Redlines much, that's a pretty tough piece to come by. But if you come across one, you know, definitely pick it up if you can get it for a reasonable price. But that one's really beat, but it's still a pretty expensive car to find in white interior. So that was pretty cool. I forgot about it. I was going through the box and I was like, well, I'm not going to take it back because I took it last year. And so anyway, tickled to find that. Said I don't know much about that artwork, but I'm definitely going to keep a few pieces of it. I'll probably won't collect all the steering rigs again. I'm probably going to, whatever I've got, I'll probably end up keeping. And I'm going to try to find those P917s in the next couple weeks. But it's been kind of crazy right now, like I say, getting ready for the convention and stuff. But y'all always got something real cool that y'all pop up that I've never heard of before. If there's anything y'all think of that y'all want to talk about like that, let me know. Because I'm always ready to write it down so I can kind of look for it and do some research. I'm going to write down that nitty gritty kitty and aqua. I don't know. And my wife said on there, we have a lot of colors of that because that was the name of our first cat. Yeah, it was. I named my first cat Nitty Gritty Kitty. We call her Nit. And but anyway, yeah, that was pretty cool. Do you have the bone shaker from the challenge accepted video game? No, the only bone shakers I think I've got, only bone shakers I think I've got left is the, well, I got the custom that I did. And I think I kept a couple of the wheel variations from the first edition, that brown one. Now, a buddy of mine, I don't know if anybody's looking for it or not. I'll have to call him back. He told me the other day he has the, you remember the bone shaker that come out on top of the candy? I think it's got a little candy piece to where the bone shaker was on top. That was a pretty tough piece to find. He said he had one of those. So if anybody's looking for one of those, I could probably talk to him, see what he's asking for it. But I remember the video game you're talking about that come out with the bone shaker. This is the this is one of my only bone shakers that I have left. Only thing I did with this is I took the first edition and I put the wheels off of one of the Hot Rod series white walls and I stuck them on here. And there's the, so I just thought that one always looked good. And I always pair it with this custom that I did of the hightail hauler. I like setting those two together usually. But I kind of found this thing over here and I wanted to put some of that stuff out since my case is not turning right now. I'm eventually gonna get the case going so y'all can see a lot of the stuff in there because I got to get through this and get it all straightened out too. So what do y'all? Um, so what's the newest variation everybody's looking for? You James, I guess you're looking for one of the bone shakers. And if anybody's looking for the bone shaker with the candy on top, or the candy with the bone shaker on top, let me know. I'll holler at my buddy Chuck. I know he's got one of those, or he did, if he hadn't sold it yet. Because he was asking me about it the other day. Um, said if there's anything in particular y'all want to talk about, chat about, you let me know, and we'll try to talk about it, or we'll discuss it. I kind of fly through a lot of things, and I don't mean to. It's just trying to wait. I know a lot of people want to come in, and then they miss, first few minutes of the show, and I blow through stuff so fast, and I don't mean to. So, like I said, if there's anything that y'all want to talk about or anything, y'all just let me know. Or if there's stuff you want me to get ready for next week, let me know. Um, I can't remember who was talking about the that Johnny Lightning Creepsters, but I always thought that was awesome. For y'all Redline guys, y'all know the Diora. This is a resin of the Diora there, and thought that was cool. I've got a guy trying to get that one, but I'm not going to get rid of any of those. If I got rid of any of them, I might sell one of them, but I may sell the or trade around the Gulf one. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. And there's some more people in now. Does anybody recognize this steering rig? And the reason I'm asking is because I know for a fact that I had this one and this red one here, wrapped up separate. And I know this one's beat and stuff, but I don't know much about these. These exact ones, I don't know if they were just the single carded ones. James D says, that's nice. Love your diecast show video coverage. I appreciate it, James. Yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know if there's a lot of people doing a lot of the coverage of the shows. Sometimes I just like to go to I always enjoy going and looking at everybody's table. And I've tried to slow down because I'm really fast. Because usually when I go to a show, first thing I do is initial skim to see if anything just jumps out at me, and then I go back and take my time. But now with the trying to video it, I try to get in there and video first, and that way I've got enough time to get all the way around. So I have short wheelbase in gold. Randy, I'm not 100% sure that I must have missed something in the. I got a short wheelbase in gold. I'm sorry, I must have missed something there. Shannon says she loves the rigs. Yeah, I like them. I like them pretty good. Like I said, I used to collect them. Me and another buddy was collecting them there for a little while together. I think he ended up finishing his complete set. But I need to reach out to him and ask him about those two that we just talked about, because I don't know a whole lot about them. And I think this was one of the harder ones to find, was the color changer. And yes, this flag doesn't go with it. I know I'm repeating, but we had a lot of new people that just come in lately, and I just wanted to go back over that. Let me get caught back up in the chat real quick. Shirt says, yeah, anybody that's ordered shirts, we got them ordered. They're coming in. My wife says they're estimated May 26th. As soon as they come in, I'll message you or you message me, and we'll get those out to everybody. I did a limited run, and if anybody's interested in shirts, like I said, they'll be in. Everybody that said they wanted one, I've already got them down. So, if there's anybody that's actually wanting a shirt, like I said, I'm not here to hawk shirts or anything, but if there's anybody wanting a shirt, I did make a limited run. Anything I got left, I'm going to take to the convention with me, and they'll be up there too. So, look, Lee says, dang, I'm late to the class. It's all good, Lee. I don't know what we were talking about last week that you had brung up, but I did bring some stuff in, and we'll go back over it. I know we've got a lot of newer people in, and I've went over this stuff, and I don't like to. I'll repeat and go over again because my mind just starts going that way. But Lee, who was talking about the Johnny Lightning Creepsters? Do you remember? But I'll go through this real quick on the last couple of weeks we went through. Um, there's one of the Creepsters. I didn't even know I had it. I was just going through a box of stuff out there trying to find those P917s we were talking about last week. And I've got my Blackwall versions. And then I got two variations of the Blackwall version there of the P917. See the two different colors on the actual Tampo, but then they've got a green and a blue window. And this is the Blackwall version. I believe I have a red line version of the blue and yellow somewhere out there, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I thought that was you, Lee. That's why I was surprised that I even had one. And I'm sure I just picked it up just because I thought it was awesome, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even realize it was a Johnny Lightning, because I don't even think it says Johnny Lightning on the base. It says 2004 Brain. This one says Brain Crackers on the base, I think is what it says there. But that's pretty awesome. But anything that catches my eye, I'll pick up. Then I brought the rigs down. Shannon was saying she enjoyed the rigs. I don't know if she was here earlier when I went through them. I'd go through them again real quick. Like I said, I hate to go over everybody 2 or 3 times. But like I said, if there's anything y'all want to talk about, just put it in the chat, and I'll definitely catch up with it. But I did go ahead and bring down like the shell ones, probably the shell and the Arco here are probably some of the more common ones that you see around more. And these are correct with the right rigs. The Eagle has the wrong rig on it. I believe this was in a single pack of the steering rigs, but this one should have had I'm pretty sure this one had a gray cab on it. Now, some of the rarer ones would be, or it seems like they are now, is these Construction Co. They're steering rigs, but they didn't have the steer, they come out, they're a little bit tougher to find. This is these two are complete. Now, I know that I don't have the one that said Hot Ones on it anymore. I sold it a while back with the Porsche. I believe it had the black Porsche on it. And then I did have the green This is the green new car transport, and I believe this one had the I think it had the wagon with it, and I believe this is the auto transport, the gray one, and I believe it had an Omni with it. So, anyways, like I said, I just wanted to go back over those real quick for some of the people that just popped in that might have missed some of it. Yeah, Johnny, playing Mantis, I think, yeah, you're right, Lee, on that one. Got an old Kenworth Blackwall. Yeah, that's cool. I like the wheel loader. Yeah, these are really cool. They went up a lot in value. These ones, um, and then there's a couple I'm not 100% sure of. Simple Customs by Eddie Papadria. Sorry, I don't want to mess up your name. Good evening, gentlemen. It's awesome that you come in. I'm glad everybody's come in to hang out and chat. Uh, Something else I brung down. I know I went over these a couple times since I've been on, but we talked about this last couple of weeks. I want to make sure whoever was talking about them, if they popped in, this was a few that I found while I was looking for that P917 up there. We were just talking about these Japanese pieces. So I did find a few of them that I had up there. I may have a couple more. I know I thought I had a kit Knight Rider of these, but those are pretty cool. I like to try to get I'd like to try to get a little bit of everything out and rolling. Was trying to find my farbs too. I've got two of them on display up here. I like to find the rest of the farbs. Uh, I don't know why. I don't know exactly where that stuff are. And the P917s, I'm almost 100% sure is with those. I'm still looking for my red line motorhome. Sorry. Yeah, the Japanese Hot Wheels Speed Racer is cool too, Lee. And I want to think that was the other one. I think I had a Speed Racer. And like I said, the kit car, I think is the two, because I think those were the only two real, or not real. The Knight Rider obviously is more of a real car, I guess, than the Mach 5, but Mach 5 is awesome. Uh, but yeah, I've Simply Customs, you custom cars. I'm just asking because of your name. I'm not 100% sure. And like I said, if there's anything y'all want to talk about or know more of, let me know, and I'll try to dig it out, or we can talk about it now. Um, Mainly, my main goal this week and probably next week will be to get, like I said, getting everything ready for the convention. And as soon as the shirts come in, I want to try to get those out, hopefully before. Um, well, I don't know when she said they're going to be here, but she said in the chat earlier when they were supposed to be here. I'm hoping that they're here before the convention, and I'd like to get those out. But I put a light in these to go to do my Beanie Bandits, but I think it overpowers the cars too much right now. So you can't really see them whenever the light's on. I mean, I can see them here, but it's hard to show up here. Got a new camera. I just hadn't um, figured out how to fix it on my computer yet. That I got it on there and it wasn't focus in and out. Chris told me it's something to check, and I tell you the truth, I hadn't had a chance to. Um, I hadn't had a chance to. What am I trying to say? I hadn't had a chance to mess with it enough to figure out the focus part. So when I bring something up to the camera, it wouldn't focus. It'd just be blurry and it never would focus. So, but yeah, as far as custom stuff, I used to do customs a lot back in the day. I won one of the custom contests with that silver one right there uh, back in the day. Now I have messed up the front wheels on this one because uh, the way I had them on there, they've actually come off. But that was way back in the day. It's probably been, I don't know, 12 years ago or more, maybe more since that. I used to really like doing the customs, and I used to love doing the Rokes. And like my wife says, when am I got time? But I would like to do a custom and another custom and maybe some Rokes eventually again. I'd like to do some customs for this channel, just but I don't know when like she said, I don't know when I'm gonna have the time to do stuff like that. But anyway, I apologize for rambling. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to these artwork one more time because a lot of people may not have seen it. If y'all know anything about these or who made these, let me know because they're pretty cool and they're on some good material paperback. But that's the Dixie Challenger. This is the Z Wiz. This is the Poison Pinto, obviously, and then of course the Son-A-Gun there. And these probably were made. I don't know if this is a different design than this, but this I don't think this come out to like 2003, 4, somewhere around there. So these are probably newer prints, but I don't know a whole lot about those. Customize within a hobby. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Use the strip them, polish them, sometimes repaint, laminate. Yeah, that's what I did with this. I stripped this was the 77 TA. I stripped and polished it. This was a what am I trying to say? This was the Modern Classics, I believe, was what this one come out as. And they come out good if you use some of that polishing compound. So anyway, sorry, my brain's froze. I'm trying to catch up, make sure I'm keeping up with the chat. Um, Trying to think of what else we was talking about last week that we might wanted to go over. Like I said, I've been getting some stuff ready for the show, for the convention. I've been trying to get stuff out y'all wanted to talk about. I went up there and found some of the steering rigs. I know that was something we talked about. And now this, I think I've got a few more somewhere. I just got to find them. Up there in the shop is like a jungle. If y'all seen the videos, y'all know it's just stacked up everywhere. So you just kind of crack open a look. You can kind of tell. The one thing that's bothering me more than anything is I've got a box of arrows that I'm missing that's got some of my really tough arrows. I know I've got a lot of arrows still left to go through, but I've got a lot of arrows left. And then, what else? Oh, yeah. And then I've got some red lines. I've got to be at least one box of red lines because it's going to have that GMC. Probably got these in it too because when I stacked them before, I put them in these cases. And then when I started breaking them down, that was some of the first things I brought down was the loose stuff so I could start getting them out. Do you clear your Zamac toolings? I do not. Uh, I never did. I would clear the customs whenever I did the like these. I would do like when I did these for the Rokes, and I did them in a bare Zamac. I actually did these in a Zamax, and this was like said 15 years ago. We're going right back to St. Louis. When I did this one, I did our logo on the side. It's hard to see that one. Let's see where my other one is. We'll see if y'all can see this or not. But all the tampos on the side, I did clear over that, but it was a flat clear back in the day. Because if you didn't clear it, the was back in the day. Now they probably have come out with some better paper and stuff than what I used to use, but this was 12, 15 to 20 years ago whenever I was 15, 18 years ago. Pretty do you clear let's see. Cool Combi, Aladdin of movie series. I've flew off the shelf and I never found one. Cool Combis are I don't know if y'all can see this. All these are Cool Combis and all those are Cool Combis. As far as I know, I've got every Cool Combi except for some reason I don't have the Legends Tour. I'm trying to Aladdin of movie series. I don't remember the Cool Combi of Aladdin of movie series. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you wrote there. Trying to remember the Aladdin one. Sorry, Lee. Appreciate it. The bug's cool. I like the 62. And I never have opened those. They really need to be open where you can see them a little better. Yeah, Lee, I'm sure they do. I need to clear coat them. I never really do. I just polish them up, or used to polish them up. I hadn't polished anything in a while as far as the customs go or anything. I hadn't done any customs in years. My goal was to win one of the custom contests. I did that, and then I did a few ropes, and then I kind of got out of it. Just a time thing. It takes a lot of time to get them together. Disney movie series Cool Combi Walmart exclusive, I think. I have the Disney exclusive. I remember the Cool Combi was the Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't know why I can't remember an Aladdin one for some reason. I'm sitting there looking. Um, see the Beatles. I see the Nightmare Before Christmas. They did the Green Lantern, but I don't know why I can't remember the Aladdin one because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've got everything here except for that one right now. But I'll have to look that one up. I'm gonna write it down so I can kind of look at it and see if I can figure that out before next week because I cannot replace that Aladdin Cool Combi. Sorry about that. I like to write it down because I'm old school. I can't remember everything whenever we go back to look for it. But Disney movie series Cool Combi. Last year or so, I was scalped up, never found one. I tell you the truth, I don't remember that one because if that's the case, then obviously it's one I need myself. So that'll be two combis. And the problem with the way I collect combis. I collect well, y'all. As far as new stuff is the 83 Sylvies, 55 Gassers, the cool combis, and the Trans Ams, Hot Bird stuff, and Roger Dodgers. The the Hirahata Merc now is the new one, and I collect the Passing Gasser. Um, that's pretty much the newer stuff that I collect. Yeah, Lee, it's probably on eBay. I'll have to check that out. Like I said, I will definitely try to look because if that's something I need, obviously I'm gonna try to find one when I go in a couple weeks. Um, so what are y'all looking? What are y'all finding out there? Anything good? Everybody find their purple 83s? I traded around for one. A buddy of mine's got it still. I still haven't got a chance to get with him, but I pulled out a couple cars for him. I don't know if he's here right now, but I pulled out. He wanted one of the 62s I'd found. I was going through a box of 83. I was looking for the remember the camouflage, the orange and camouflage 83s that come out of, and then there was a 100-year anniversary 83s. I had quite a few of those, so we were going to do some trading on that. Something that he was wanting. And I don't collect the 62s. I sold those last year. I had all those loose, but I decided that I wasn't going to collect that casting because the 83s is enough to keep up with. If any of y'all have a NFTH that wants to trade around for something, let me know because that's the one I'm missing on the 83s. I've got I was looking, I couldn't find that Zamak the other day. I was like, I know I bought it. Well, I found it when I was digging through some stuff. The one that come in I think there was 8-car Zamak set that come out. I found it. It was in there. And the reason I bought that set mainly was for the 83, and then it's got the hard body. I do collect the Nissan hard body. Lee says I won't find a purple 83 square body hobby store for $10 or more. Yeah, they went down. You catch them about $10 now. But I think they'll eventually slowly go back up, just like all the other exclusive colors. I mean, it takes a year or so, and then they'll start slowly coming back up. Every time an 83 comes out, somebody new's collecting it. So, picked up the white Porsche from Car Culture. and the 3 different 62 Chevys. Yeah, the new yellow one that come out. It looks like a good looking car. I hadn't seen it in person yet. Buddy of mine told me he found a couple of them the other day. Looking for the new track fleet old locomotive style nitro rail. That's cool, James. I like the nitro rail. That was a pretty cool casting. I don't collect it, but I'll have to look. I'm gonna write that down so I can see what that looks like. The nitro motive style. I like to, whenever y'all say something I'm not 100% sure on, there's a lot of brand new stuff. I just don't keep up with everything that's coming out just as soon as it comes out. And I kind of look for mostly everything that's pre-90s and then everything that's 83, 55 gasser, Big Air, Bel Air, those things. So I don't really pay attention. And then whatever's hot, I will try to go around and find while I'm out. I don't specifically go out and hunt. Most of the stuff I collect, is not going to be in the store. So going to shows and stuff to find that mostly. But arrows I do hunt for a lot. I was flipping around and I found, I don't know if I did this in a video or not, but y'all remember this Fast and the Furious 77 TA? This one's got all small wheels on it. And I thought that was cool. Just an arrow that I was, I can't remember if I put it in one of the videos or not, but that's cool. I've got so much stuff just laying that I've went through and I've been trying to get it figured out how I'm going to display it. And it's hard to display everything. That's my goal, is to kind of display just about everything I've got in the collection that I can, except for a lot of the arrows I'll probably end up putting in the cases, the more of the common stuff. And I want to put a section of rare stuff. And then of course I've got some of the stuff out that some of y'all have actually give to me. Actually, Lee, I know he sent me some stuff. I got some stuff out that he had sent me, and Tom would give me some, and so I am going to put some of that stuff out on display also. Yep, stuff not in your wheelhouse like JDM are still good due to high value. Yeah, I do pick up quite a bit of that. You don't find it really a whole lot around here. It don't seem like. When I go down to Florida, I find a lot more trucks down there because a lot of people, it seems like they don't collect as many trucks in Florida now. It might be just the area I'm at in Florida, but I usually find a lot of my trucks there, and then a lot of people collect trucks in JDM here. So it's nice to be able to go down there every now and then, get quite a few trucks, bring them back up here, trade them around. And the JDM stuff, if I find it here, obviously I pick it up because a lot of people collect the JDM stuff, the Skylines and the. I started collecting the Skylines years ago. A lot of people may know or not know. I worked for Nissan for 20 years, but I've been to the Titans. I actually own a Titan, and then they made the Hot Wheel Titan. I've got all those, and I believe I've got every variation. I am looking for another PR5 First Edition. I'd like to have one loose. I've got one in the package, but I don't want to loosen it. I'd like to find another one. They're pretty tough to come by. And I've also got a prototype. There's only 2 that I know of, prototypes to the Titan, and I've got one of them. I think Bruce had the other one. He's actually the one I bought my other one from years ago when they first come out. But that's another story. But that and the hard body I collect, and the mini truck. Remember the mini truck from back in the day? It was supposed to be just called the mini truck with the speakers and stuff in the back, but it looked just like a little hard body that had the top cut off. So I collect that casting also, even though they made them into the 90s. I think they didn't come out till 91. But anyway, I'm rambling about something else again that probably a lot of people don't care about. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I've been chasing a few pieces. I've got some pieces people's asked me to hunt for. So I'm on the lookout. A buddy of mine's looking for a Sheriff Patrol, one that's black. It's got the 1, 2, 3 on the top, but I need it in a black interior instead of a tan interior. So I'm hunting that. for him, because I don't think I've got one either. But I think that was one of the last ones he's missing to have all of those. And also looking for the blue Omni with Malaysia base. That's the two variations I think he's looking for. But Lee says, I guess it's regional. Not all cars are popular everywhere. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Lee. Shannon says, I don't know if it's an error or a variation, but I got a black spider from K-Day. Black spider from K-Day. Not sure what year. Had wrong interior. Had black interior instead of light tan. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at that. Black spider. Would that like the arachnarod or something? The black spider? I'm not 100% sure the casting on that one. Lee says, I put 2 Race Team 83s on eBay and they went less than 1 day, blew me away. Yeah, the Race Team 83s, I've only got 3 left. Loose ones. I bought a bunch of loose ones back in the day. Nobody cared about 83s. I bought them. Most people were opening them up for Melloways, the 20 car Melloways back in the day. Because I remember going to convention and I bought like 40 of them from a guy loose. And I was going to do customs with them, and I never did. I bought a bunch of the Eldebrock ones to cut the wheels off of back in the day. My military rod and my fire rod went. I bought them from the same guy. He knows who he is. I think I gave $2.50 a piece for them because he used to buy by the case, and I'd try to buy a case from him, or I'd buy. But I was the only one. There weren't a lot of people doing 83s back then. The modern classics were, $3 or $4 or $5 there for a little while. Like I said, nobody cared nothing about that stuff, and now they're got crazy money. Even the Mustangs back then, people didn't care much about them, and now they just went crazy on that modern classic stuff and all the classic stuff in general. The 2 I got on eBay, I've got 2 of the 83. The first Race Team ones, I've got one with the pink and the white side. I think the white side was harder to find the pink. The tempo's real light, so it makes it look almost pink, and the other one's real thick, so it's like white. But anyway, I like the color shift variations on tempos too. Yeah, glad I got a handful of those, Lee says. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If I've still got those next week, I'll bring them over and we can look at those. Do you have a Sweet 16 Redline Python on its card? No, I do not, James. I think I've got about 4 or 5 red lines left on the card. This is my one that I probably will never sell is the Beatnik Bandit. That's my favorite red line, and I'm doing the rainbow in the Beatnik Bandits. These are some of my rainbow here. I've still got I think I've got another 8 or 10 cars I know of colors I've got to find up there. It's crazy that I thought I had a lot of them out, and then I went and started looking through my book. And I told Martin I've got them marked, so that means I've got them somewhere. It's just a matter of figuring out where they are. Sorry about that. I don't have on the Sweet 16. That's the only Sweet 16 I got on the card. I've got an era of the. Trying to think of what the era on the what's the name of that card? The car. Crap. My mind just went blank again. Peeping Bomb. I've got the Peeping Bomb with the back wheel. Whenever they put it together, they crimp the back red line in between the wheel and the base, and it's kind of sticking out and it won't roll. So I do have that error on the card, which is pretty cool. And I've got a few cut cards that I bought throughout the years because back in the day you could buy cut cards and open them about as cheap as you could buy loose ones. But that, it's 20 years ago we're talking about. We're not talking about today's era. I'll try to remember. I'll bring some of them red lines. What carded ones I can remember next week out so we can look at those. I'm making a list of some stuff so we can cover it again. Sorry to be a week behind. I know y'all ask questions now. If I can answer it right now, I would. That's my goal with this area is to get it to where y'all can ask something and maybe I can grab it within relatively really quick. Let's see. Lee says, wish I had a red line on card. Yeah, They're got really pricey lately. I can't. I really don't dive down into trying to find them on card much. I will look at certain red lines. I'm looking for a good 442 to put out for the collection is my main one that I'm looking for. I would need to start looking for some of the stuff I've got in rougher shape. When I started looking at some of these the other day, I've got some of my red lines are in rougher shape, but I really didn't focus on them in my collection. When I started, I was always about black walls, real riders, and that stuff I played with when I was growing up. So I hit that stuff super hard. So that's why everything you see back here has got a variation on it, and that's black wall variations is what I really went down the rabbit hole on because I wanted to get them. I wanted to get them all. And then when it come to red lines, don't get me wrong, I collected them, but I didn't care too much about the shape. Let's say, as long as I had an example of each, that was my whole goal. So maybe a little different to collect, but nowadays it might be the only way to get red lines anymore if you're going to try to start collecting them nowadays, because you know how expensive they are. It might be easier just to buy um, ones that are in the greatest shape. I've got a whole box of beaters over here. I think I showed it to y'all last week. And I need to decide what I'm going to do with those. If I'm going to take them to the convention and trade them around or what. But every one of these are, let me open the case without just filling them. But there's like, all these are beaters. And I need to go through because I'm sure there's a few of them there that classify a little bit better shape than beaters. But that's all that this is like red lines that are kind of beat up. That Lola don't look too bad there. I'll probably pull it out. It'll probably be something decent. I just need to look through. I want to keep I probably like to find a decent one, at least a 7 or 8 shape in the collection, be one, and that's all I need. I don't need of every card, but this one's not in too bad a shape. The little black piece is probably pushed down in there. Tempo's a little scratched on top, but that might not be a beater too much. Little gremlin grinders, those the gremlin grinders and stuff. Those are tougher to find, so those will be some good ones. A lot of people now is restoring them, so people that restores them, they look for stuff like that because even beat red lines, can be $5 plus, and just depends on what casting. Because I mean, there's a custom Mustang right there, uh, pretty rough, but people will restore that to make it look back original. I don't think there's any help for this one. Some kid had a real good time with that, and they painted it up crazy. So that's a good looking junkyard right there. That's some pretty cool stuff I like to find. I actually don't mind the kid play cars. I kind of like that stuff. Uh, Obviously, I like to have a decent one and then I don't mind one that's been played with for another repurposed. I guess the kids didn't like the color painted and whatever. I've got some really cool kid paints over there. I'll try to bring some of those over here and we can look at those maybe next week. And what I mean by kid paints is I think everybody kind of knows kids painted them back in the day. And a lot of them are just beat up and stuff, but I've got a few cool ones that somebody done back in the day that I thought was really neat, and I'll bring those out. We'll look at those next week. Um, is there anything y'all want to cover for next week that maybe there's something I need to get together? Red Custom Mustang on my first Hot Wheel. That's awesome, Lee. Um, my first red line that I owned was a red Mustang, and my cousin had found it, I believe, in a yard sale. And I ended up trading him some new cars for it. And it's beat, but that was my first red line that I had. And then after that, I was like, well, I'd like to have an example of each. So I started doing that. And then the Beatnik Bandit, I went down the whole rainbow. I want every color, every interior, and all that, because that's the only red line that I was like, I want every one of them of. And then until I get the black walls, it was like, as long as I had one, especially like the Spectre Flame red lines, I mean, you start going down those, you know, there's 40, 50 of them here. I don't know. There's like 40 right here. But, and that's still not all of them because I know there's some of them that's, you know, missing. So, you have the ZZ Top 34 Ford Coupe. Yes, I do have the ZZ Top Coupe, but where it's at. Oh, yeah, I see it. It's actually one that I can get to. Black walls are not that hard to get to because they're right here. They're, like I said, a lot of the black wall, they start over there right after the red lines, and I just have them in order behind me. But there's the ZZ Top, I believe is what you're talking about there. Um, Let me get back over here to chat. Let's see what else they got. It's Red Baron or Red Line? Yes. They have red lines and black wall versions. The red line come out first, obviously. And then they re-released in 73. It had open hole wheels on that, on the 73 version. And then they also re-released in 77 with black walls on it. I think I've got a sample of each of the Red Barons I can bring out. I'll try to get some of those. I'll try to get the different variations of those. I'm pretty sure I have each, but I'll have to double check. And I'll try to bring those down. Now I don't have the white interior, and I've not seen but one ever white interior. And that was at a convention years ago. And that was I believe Mike's the one that had that, Mike Strauss. But anyway, I bought the loose and carded ZZ Top Coupe. Had to have them. Yeah, that's cool, Lee. Um, I couldn't send a picture of the Spider, but it's a Ferrari. Oh, Ferrari. What am I thinking? I was thinking the Spider like the Ratnarod. Okay. Couldn't send a picture of the Spider, but it's a Ferrari. I'll look into that Ferrari. 458. And it had a black interior. Sorry. What color was the Ferrari? The outside color. Anyway, sorry about that. Kind of behind in the chat. I'm trying to get caught back up. White interior is rare. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Lee. I think I've only seen one in person. I can't remember. I've seen a lot of pictures, but it's one of those things, unless you know the person that's got that picture, it's like, is it real or not? Because a lot of people, you know, unfortunately, we changed those out years ago when they thought that was worth quite. Of course, they're worth a lot if you can find it. But the white that's in there is more of a cream color than a white. I mean, it's white, but it's not like a real bright white. The one that I saw, anyway. I have the Red Baron with the bent back axle. Is it in the package, Randy? That's pretty cool. K-Day. I may have one. Yeah, Lee says he may have one. K-Day. I'm going to look into that Ferrari. Because I don't remember. Back in the day, I used to collect all the variations. 2008 is when I stopped collecting every variation of every car. I think I've told y'all that story a couple times. 2008, the beginning of 2008, I laid all my 2007 cars out, and I had over 3,000 cars from 2007 because I went down to the casting number on the cars, and it just got crazy. So I slowed down big time in 2008. That's whenever it was probably the height of my collection. I had, well, Daddy might know, you know, we talked about it a couple times. I'd say 60 to 80,000 cars then. That sounds like a lot, and it was because I had, like I said, buildings full. And I don't know what I've got now. A lot of people's asked. We can't sit down and count them. But I have sold a lot of them off. Anything from 90, I've sold quite a bit of that stuff. So, but anyway, sorry about that. That's another ramble. Um, Matchbox also had a Volkswagen Red Baron Flying Bug. Yeah, they did. I don't know if you was talking about this one. I'm not 100% sure if that's the one you're talking about, James, or not. Um, um, Sorry. Shannon says 2012 on the card is black car. Okay. 20 car, it's a black car, and it's supposed to have tan interior and it had black interior. I believe that's what I'm understanding. I'm gonna look into that Kmart Day car because I'm kind of interested myself to find out about that. Sorry. Um, 2012 didn't have the year stopped in about 2007 or so. Yeah, Lee, the Tom Daniels did the Red Baron. James said yes, so I'm guessing that's to the Flying Bug. That one was always cool. I'm not a big Matchbox guy, but that's one of them I have right there close, and then the Mini Haha, little Mini Cooper there with a airplane motor in the front. Those are cool. I collect a few Matchbox, not a lot. Um, but I like the Dragon wheels. Of course, any of the stuff that's kind of that type of stuff. When it comes to Matchbox, my favorite custom Matchbox ever made to me was this one. I actually had one of these when I was a kid, so and I actually collect this one. This is one of the few Matchbox castings I actually collect and try to buy all of them. So sorry about that. Let me go back up. I'm trying to catch the chat. Sorry, people. I am so behind right now. It seems like, or I might be ahead of y'all, but I'm behind on the chat. It's weird. That's pretty cool. Never seen that Baron. Yeah. Troy has hi y'all. Good evening. Always learning stuff in here. Awesome. Yeah, that's my goal. Is I like to show y'all stuff. Y'all teach me too on this newer stuff because I don't know a ton of the new stuff. I know what people tell me they're looking for while I'm out looking for my errors and stuff. I'll pick them up if I can find them and all that. Shannon Gibson said, "Yeah, that's it." Lee says, "Oh, I remember the black interior, black Ferrari, not a Walmart very." That's right, Troy. Knowledge. Yeah, I try to. I try to learn from y'all just as much as y'all learn from me. I know a lot of the older stuff, a lot of the odd stuff that come out, and that's what I've focused on pretty much since I started collecting up until. And in 2008, everything 2008 the dated before then, I could probably told you pretty much every variation and every casting and all that. And then after I went to Japan in 2010, I think there was about 2 years there. I kind of slowed down because of all the work we were having to do to start the Leaf project. So I kind of slowed down then on the new, and that's whenever I made the decision to try and stay more with the older stuff. So my whole collecting in probably around 2012, 2013, from then on have been kind of going backwards. So to the older stuff. I've always collected the older stuff, but then I kind of more focused on it then. But sorry about that. I just going through a little memory lane of what my collecting experience is about. Every one of y'all's got probably y'all's favorite first car that y'all started collecting with. I know there was a first car you played with when you was a kid, but then there's probably that first car when you said, all right, I'm going to start collecting Hot Wheels. This is my first car. Mine was the Scorching Scooter in purple. This is not the purple one, but I've got all the Scorching Scooters loose that I know about. But this is the one with the rider. We had this discussion in the last couple of weeks. I've been kind of like I like to lay stuff out up here and just kind of keep it out. Stuff I like to look at until I figure out exactly how I'm gonna lay everything out. So y'all will see a lot of this stuff we've talked about in other lives and gone through on the channel, but it also brings up other conversations. Some people new comes in, they had never seen it, they want to talk about it and that kind of stuff. So I kind of leave it out right now. But anyway, sorry about that. Lee says you're doing fine, dog. I appreciate it. If you could have your own diecast company, what would be the first car you make? Um, James, the first car I would make would be a, well, Hot Bird is my favorite Hot Wheel. I don't know, other than the Hot Bird is my favorite. I don't know of any other car because I really like the 77 TA casting they come out with. And I've got the treasure hunt here to open up on that this next week. I need to get it open, but I think I got a bunch of cars here that I need to open, so I think I may just do a video opening a bunch of the cars. I just picked this one up, but as far as a casting that they haven't made, there's nothing specific that jumps out that I would do anything different. I just love the Hot Bird and the Trans Am stuff. Um, maybe maybe they should make a 79 or to 80 model. I know a lot of people like, oh yeah, they made the Firebird funny car and stuff, but I mean, to make a true life car be a 78, I mean a 79 through 81 Trans Am would be pretty cool. Because you could do it with shaker hood, or we could do it with a turbo hood. And Hot Wheels never has made that casting, of course, with the sunk in buckets, so that would be probably something I would look into. Let's see, let me get back up here. If you could have, let's see, Troy says you got a lot and know a lot of stuff. I appreciate it. Shannon says, Lee, it come from the Kmart Day events. Okay, yeah. Kmart Day, thought I saw it in the Wally World. Anywho. Simply Custom says, any Thunder Cycle with the blue and yellow rider for sale, looking to chop it up to put on the back of a 55 gasser. Did one phase 3 in the Gilmore build off, ran by that's cool. That's really cool. Thunder Cycle with the blue and yellow rider. Um, this is not the one you're talking about, I don't believe. But I collected those for some reason, just because whenever they come out, I thought they were cool. And I understand what you're looking for. Those are things that are getting expensive too. Um, Lee says Rockford Files. Yeah, they made the Rockford Files car, and they made it a Hot Bird, and he didn't have the Hot Bird, obviously. I don't know if y'all remember whenever they did the Rockford Files gold one, and they used the Hot Bird casting, and his was a basically the gold bird. It was what was they called, ladybirds? There was a red bird, blue bird. His was the gold one, obviously, but it didn't even have the spoiler on the back. Didn't have a shaker hood. I remember watching that show a lot, and I even watched reruns of it and Chips just to check out all the cool cars in the 70s. But anyway, that's just me. Sorry about the rambling. I might do a line of all cars I actually owned at one time. You know, Lee, that's kind of the way that my collection is on my newer stuff, is anything that I've owned or I own, I kind of go after. Except for my Charger. Now my 74 Charger, I haven't really went back and tried to buy a bunch of the Chargers. I didn't ever like the way that I didn't ever like the way that they did the Charger. I mean, they did the good looking Charger, but they didn't do a Super B the way I think it should be done. That might be something that might be worth doing. Um, Chris said, I think it was a 74. I believe you're right. I thought it was a, I thought it was a 77, but you might be right. I have to go back and look. That's kind of got me curious now. I'm gonna look it up. I watched a documentary on it years ago, and I asked him why he didn't want to get one of the TAs. He just wanted a regular. He said because most of the private eyes back in the day, to be real to the character, they wouldn't have the money to buy that. They'd have enough money just to buy the regular car. Thought that was really cool. If y'all check out that documentary sometimes, that was pretty cool if you're into the Rockford Files. Let's see. James says, what's your favorite Hot Wheels pickup truck? Currently, the 83 Sylvie would be my favorite right now. The Titan was, and then they quit making the Titan pretty much. I love the Nissan hardbody. I like the new Nissan that's got the dancing bed. But 83 Sylvie is my favorite. And the main reason it is because we restored my son's truck, and his is an 83 Silverado. So that's another reason I collect that car. Another reason I collect a 55 Gasser is because I had a 55 Chevy, and actually Daddy has it now, and he still got it, which is pretty cool. 305 CI, yeah. Round headlights or square. Smokey and the Bandit was the Firebird I was thinking of. Lee, yeah, Lee, it was a 77. They used a 76 body, and they put the new 77 front end on for the movie. Just little movie fact, because they hadn't come out with the 77 yet, but they already had it designed. They just hadn't come out for the movie. So to sell more of them, they put the front end on a 76, and that's what you see in the movie, which is why they sell the 77. I had a 78 real Bandit, for a while, and I ended up selling it, my 79 SC, and now I've got a 79 that's got a newer motor and everything in it, a real one. But I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do with the car instead of trying to restore it back original, because they're too rare to not be original. Because one of them was a one owner and the other one was an original Bandit car. So the one I got now has got a new motor, transmission, and it's solid white now, so it can be painted any color, and you don't ever have to worry about being original anymore. So if you want a resto mod, you can. But anyway, I'm sitting here rambling about some crazy stuff, but I do enjoy the talks about all this. I hope all y'all enjoy it too, because something besides just Hot Wheels all the time is really cool, because I love cars. That's another one of my passions. Do y'all collect other things besides Hot Wheels? Another question. I collect signs also, and gas pumps, that kind of stuff. Anything that's automobile memorabilia and signs, that kind of stuff. I do collect that used to collect it pretty heavy. I've slowed down a lot in the last couple of years on the sign stuff, and kind of switched mainly just all Hot Wheels now, but because the signs have just got crazy in prices. But anyway, um, let's see, Smoking the Bandit. TV cars are cool, lots of those. Stars, yeah. Bunker Diecast says Eddie. Um, Monsters cars were cool, monkey cars, etc. Yeah, the movie cars were always cool. Until the last few years, Hot Wheels never really went after movie cars, because they were mostly Ertl was getting the license for them when they were first coming out. Um, and then obviously Hot Wheels in the last few years, since the pop culture stuff, probably the mid 2000s, probably 2004 or 5, they started getting every license they could get as it started coming up. They got the 18 van license and all that now, which is really cool. Um, I wish they would get the license to the General Lee, but I mean, a lot of people, don't know if they'd make that still or not. So let's see. I know Johnny Lightning did a lot of the General Lees in the 2000s. I've got actually a couple of Zingers sitting up next to my table upstairs where I sit. I collect my thoughts sometimes. Yeah, me too. I need to. I'm just rambling over here. Um, I can't find mine, Randy says. Hobby Lobby has some cool Hot Wheel 10 signs. Yeah, James, I've picked up a few of them. I've got them. I've got a few sitting over here. One says Stunt Zone. I got one over here that said, I think it says built to last, or built. It's got a Roger Dodger on it. And this light up sign here actually comes from Hobby Lobby also. It's pretty cool. You can put batteries in it to light up, or it'll light up on a, you can put a USB-C into the back and light it up, which is pretty cool. There's a collector in Canada, has a YouTube channel, is WT4. You should check out his collection video. He shares your love for Hot Wheels. If you do search through his room, collection tours. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Aaron, I've not really watched too many people on YouTube about Hot Wheels. I've been trying to get all my stuff out. I've met 3 or 4 people that's actually got YouTube channels, like at the conventions. Um, Trying to think of the guys I met last convention. They have a podcast. I can't remember. They were live at the actual Sunday show at the convention this last year. One thing's called Diecast Breakdown or something like that. I met those guys. They were really cool. They were into more of the newer stuff. And then I met a guy. I can't remember. Trying to remember his name. Sean something. Sean. He had him and his wife and his kid there, and they were a couple of rooms down from me, and he had a YouTube channel. And but he was more into the new stuff. He was hunting cars out. He said he was hunting cars at the stores or whatever and filming that and going to some of the shows and buying some of the newer stuff and basically um, running around trying to find newer stuff I did back in the 90s and 2000s where I used to camp out at the stores all the time. But yeah, I hadn't watched a lot of YouTube people on the Hot Wheels stuff. Another reason I hadn't really, tell you the truth, is I didn't want me to feel like I was copying somebody's style, or I'd probably get lost in the sea of trying to catch a little bit of everything. But I do need to check a few people out eventually. I hadn't had a chance, to tell you the truth. Since you started YouTube, time you film or time you video, you sit down and edit. I know Chris has got a channel. He's actually got a couple channels. Woody's got a channel in here. Every now and then you see him. I know some of y'all may have channels. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Time you get back, you edit it. I like to really edit mine a lot. If y'all watch my videos, I like to bring them in. I like to show the differences, just because I want y'all to, I want y'all to see it just like I see it, or I know it in my head anyway. But sorry, I'm rambling. But I do need to check out some of them guys' channels. Especially, I'd like to get other people's opinion on some older stuff. That's why whenever I go to the conventions, it's like the whole time I'm talking to people that collects the same stuff that I collect a lot, because I like to get the knowledge from the older collectors. Let me get back over here to the thing. Let me get back up here to the chat. I messed up here. Let's see. Flintstone's got a few of those. The Ecto one's got a few. Yeah, those were cool. WT4 has so many. WT4. I'll write it down and check it out. I have had people ask me 2 or 3 times to do a channel. I do a tour of this area. You can't even move right now down here. I can move from here around to here and over here right now. I'm still trying to fix my shelves up to get all those red lines and black wall sets out that I've been getting, or that I've collected, and they take up a ton of room. So I've got 3 big shelving units. I'm working on trying to get those done. Let me get back over here to the chat. I'm sorry. Diecast built to last. Yeah, you're right, James. That's what it says on it. Hobby Lobby are sometimes pricey, but they have diecast green lights. Yeah, I agree with you on that. They are a little overpriced, but that's where I found a couple of those solid white ones that were from Auto World there. That was pretty cool. Aaron Miller says his name's Sean Nicholas. Yeah, I believe that's right, now that you said that. Yeah, Chuck, that's Dave, Twice Diecast. Yeah. I talked to him some there at the convention, and they're in their live there at the show, and they were really cool. Like I said, they know they do a lot of the newer stuff, and they do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And that's pretty cool, because a lot of newer collectors are into the new stuff, and I like the new stuff, and I collect some of it. But if you want to know about the older stuff, that's kind of some of the stuff I can try to help with. Yeah, Lee says he does varies. I need to dive into some more of that stuff, but there's just so much right now I'm trying to get done here, and I want to start going through from the first red line and go through each car to get a video out of each car made. That it's kind of hard for me to do all of it, but I do. I love the variations. That's what I was into. For a long time, I was the man of variations, is what I was called, and that's what I did. I collected every variation of every car for years. And there are so many that you can't just keep up with them. It's crazy. Let me get back over here. I'm going to check out that channel. I wrote the letter down. I'm going to check his channel out. Great guy with Mark Dotson Mancast. Sorry, let me read that again. Great guys with Mark Dotson Man Diecast. That's cool. Found a green square body blazer at HB the other day. That's cool. Randy. Green square body blazer. Simple Custom says, did you go to Atlanta? Yeah, I was there at the Atlanta show. I did a 3-part video on it last year on my channel. And actually this week's video is going to be a recap, put all 3 of those together, kind of cut up some areas because I was demonetized on those videos because of the music I had in it. So I'm having to redo the music and some of the parts. Of course, I'm cutting it a little shorter, but it's still going to be over an hour long. And it's going to be about the Atlanta one from this week. Let's see, I have customs from those guys. I met them at Atlanta shows, what Simple said. That's cool. Said he met Mike Zarnock. He's a great guy. But anyway, well, we're looking like we're running into about 9:40. I appreciate everybody coming in and chatting. I didn't expect it to be this long, and I love that it is. Um, like I said, if there's anything y'all want to talk about for next week, I've got a few things wrote down. I'm gonna look. I've got nitty gritty. I've got a little list here of stuff to look at. Nitty gritty kitty and aqua. I want to check out the Y24 on YouTube. Got a Kmart Day Ferrari I'm gonna look at. I want to look for this Aladdin cool combi. Um, I'm gonna bring out the carded red lines for next week. What I can find. I'm gonna bring out a couple of kid paints that I really like. And I'm gonna talk about the Red Baron. That's all the stuff I've got wrote down right now. If there's anything else that y'all want to talk about, or I can try to dig some stuff out, let me know and I'll try to do it. Like I said, I don't mind. It's just I'm not 100% sure what y'all like to go over. Anything new I like to grab. Y'all probably know as much as I do about some of that stuff. I've got a buddy that collects a lot of new, and y'all was talking about the variation with this variation missing the face or whatever. So it's easy whenever y'all tell me what y'all are looking for, I can go out and try to find it. So I thought that's cool. And I like to try to find the newer variations because a lot of people be hunting for that, so I can take that and trade it around for some older stuff that I want. So, but anyway, yeah, Arrows is probably, on as far as new stuff, when I'm out looking, I'm looking for certain cars, but Arrows is basically what I hunt for new in the stores nowadays. Yeah, Lee says, loved finding Arrows variations, not so much now because they hardly exist. Shame on Mattel. We love variations. Well, there for a while. I mean, I know if y'all remember in 1995, it was a pretty easy example. 95 first editions, they would put the first edition out like the Ferrari. What did it have? I think it had 18 variations or 20 variations I had. By the time you talk about all the different wheels, then you had it with the Ferrari, without the Ferrari, the 2 different yellow colors. I think there was die castings 1 through 3 on the base. There was all kinds of variations on each first edition, it seemed like, in the 95. So that was a rabbit hole within itself, start getting all the variations. But some of them are really cool. I wish they'd do a limited run like this Transformers with no face thing. I believe that's going to be a really limited run. At least the 2 shows I've hunted so far, I've only found 2, and the same guy had both of them. And he had said he found 3, he kept one, and he sold me one, and he still had the other one there. Let me see if I can get there. I was there. It was a great show. Picked up the gasser. Yeah, I got the gasser sitting over here somewhere. Sorry. The reason I knew that I had the gasser laying here was because I just saw it when I was moving. Of course, y'all know that I've already got it open. This one's actually cut open. And that was probably one of my favorite paint jobs they ever put on the gasser, to tell you the truth, because the only way it would make it any cooler to me is if it had the Claysmith cams, or if it had a obviously a rat feint would be real cool. Let me go back over here. Lee says, show all your Spectre Flame cars. Show us the eras. Simple Customs by, he says, where are you from? I'm in Tennessee. And yeah, I would like to. I'm going to try to get this straightened back around. I want to do at least a tour, not a tour, but I'd like to do a video to kind of start. I've got a 6-foot spinning case over here that starts my Beatnik Bandits. Well, right now I moved them over here because we were talking about the rainbow that I was working on. But they start there. Of course, the Sweet 16 is in the spinning case, and they spill over into my Giovanni's. They run this wall, and then they go and move into black walls, and then on into this wall. And ultimately, it'll be, I've got 2 6-foot tall spinning cases there, and then I've got another flat case there that'll hold about 300. So I'm hoping to get this basically where you'll be all the way around with loose, and then over here on this wall, of course, you can't see right now, is that's going to be basically all of my tracks and black wall stuff, like the cases, the cases, the red line tracks and all that, ultimately. And then make it basically, I wanted to make it like more like a museum. So anything from 1968 through 1989, I want to try to get at least an example of each, just so that it's just kind of like a museum for me to come down. I enjoy just coming down here and just looking at stuff, and it's amazing that you'll forget about something for years, and all of a sudden you'll look at something, it'll hit you and be like, oh, I remember that, and I need that variation. Now I got to go find it. You start digging through boxes. And I just had all this stuff packed for years and years, and it's just I want to get it out. So, do you have the candy strapper? Yes, I have it loose. If anybody's got an orange top candy strapper loose, I don't have that one loose. Is 55 gassers, I'm missing 2 to have all of them loose, and that is I'm missing 2 to have all of them. But as far as that, I need the orange stripe. Back in the day, they were pretty cheap. I bought my first candy strapper for $60, and my wife remembers this probably because I bought it for $60. And then later down the road, I put the card itself on eBay after I'd cut it open, and I just put the card on eBay to see what it do, and it brung $60 just for the empty card, which is pretty awesome because I cut them to open them, like I do. I cut them around the edges, and then I just have them where I can fold them out. The only reason this one's still here is because I got a Giovanni upstairs that's got this and the 83s, and they're completely full because I got every variation out, and they're completely full. So now this stuff I hadn't been able to get out. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to display upstairs and then bring the other casting down here because there's so many of them. Do you watch the miniature Mustang? Steve Young, great guy. He's from Tennessee. He was in Atlanta. I said I hadn't really watched any of the YouTube guys. I figure I'll start meeting them before too long. I've only been doing YouTube videos for a year. I didn't know YouTube was for anything else but fixing cars for years. My dad told me about YouTube, watching YouTube to watch it for shows probably 2 years ago, maybe now at the most, maybe a year and a half. And then shortly after that, he's like, you should do a YouTube channel because of all the stuff that I have. And I've always run around buying, selling, trading, collecting, buying cars and motorcycles and boats. And we do that, and then buying signs, and then of course the Hot Wheel collection. So that's why I started the channel, and I was kind of worried about it at first, but now I really enjoy it. I mean, I really love doing this. I mean, you gotta really like doing the editing and stuff but I like to give all the knowledge I've got to y'all so that, it'll live on through everybody, because a lot of the older guys that used to give me a lot of the information, they've unfortunately moved on to where they're not really going to the shows anymore, or they've passed on, and that information's got to live through somebody. And I'd like, with a YouTube channel, at least it'll be out there. Sorry, but that's just the reason I kind of wanted to do it also, and especially over the older stuff, because there's probably a lot of people doing a lot of the newer stuff. But like I said, I hadn't really looked to see who's doing all the older stuff, so that's kind of what I'd like to eventually get into. Um, Let me go back. I found a handful of candy strapper gassers once at Walmart. Couldn't believe my luck. Huh. I never heard of that. A candy strapper gasser at the Walmart. I think that was a joke. It must have been because it's April Fool's Day. Do you ever set up orange tracks and race cars for your collection to see which faster? No, James. I used to do that at the conventions for years. When my son was younger, he's 20 now, but whenever he was growing up, all the years we went, we would do the downhill racing. Downhill racing's fun. I still like going over and checking it out and watching them because there's so many different classes. But I do have, I think, four. I had four at one time. I at least have two of the 50-foot orange tracks from Kmart back in the day that had the hot bird and the charger in it. And I bought those specifically to build a track, and I never have. Might be something to look at in another few years when you get a little chance. But James, I started a 21-foot long drag strip, a digital start and finish, and everyone bets on the race. That's awesome, Randy. I want to come check that out sometime, Randy. I need to get with you. I think you're in, did you say you was in, you're in Tennessee, I believe, somewhere around Nashville or something. Wanted the 50-foot track from K-Day back in the day, but never got one. Jason has the track, huh? Yeah, I've got that track. I've actually opened a couple of them because I needed a hot bird loose for one, and then I was gonna, like I said, set it up, and I never did. I got an error. This says I got an error. Troy says I got an error card slide burn. Pants got a squiggly line in the door. That's pretty cool. Slide burn. Got a squiggly line on the door. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that. That's awesome. Yeah, Mustang Hunter. Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, I hadn't watched a lot of these people. I know. That's cool. Maybe it was the Zamax gasser, not the candy. Yeah, the Xanax gasser leaves what you're thinking about. I found quite a few of those. Now, I did find a era slash variation in that, and the only reason I say it might have been a variation is because I had three of them at one time. Was the gasser Xamax, but the back bumper was not chromed. It was I've actually still got a loose one and one in the package, and I sold the other one. But I found all three of them at the same day, so I don't know how many more is out there. And they were in dump bin. I think I found 8 that day, and three of them had that mess up on it or era. But I found three of them. It's kind of weird on an era. After you find so many, it's like, is it still an era? But sorry about that. Hendersonville, yeah. I know exactly where you are, and I go up there. A buddy of mine live, Jim with Maple. I go up there quite often. I actually was born and raised in Westmoreland, so we was in Hendersonville a lot when I was growing up. Thumbs up, yeah. Shannon, great show tonight. Appreciate love learning about the Hot Wheels. I appreciate it, Shannon. I'm about to wrap it up, guys and girls. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with me. It was a long show, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking all the diecast. Don't have to just be Hot Wheels. We can talk about some older Matchbox, Johnny Lightning. I love talking about the movie cars and different real cars. It's really cool too. I'll try to check out some of these guys, and I figure I'll eventually meet them down the road. That's what I figured. I go to enough shows now that well, I've always went to the shows, but I've never been into doing the shows the way I'm doing them now. And I've got a lot of good feedback from people telling me they really enjoy being able to see the show. And actually, what I'm thinking is in 20 years, people can look back and go, hey, I remember how Hot Wheel shows was. I wish somebody had a video of the Hot Wheel conventions 20 years ago when I was buying black balls on the beds for $1 a piece, just raking them off because they were, to me, that was cheap then. And nobody cared about them. But anyway, that's another story and another time. Jason, I'll let you know when we'll have another drag race. You and Rebecca need to come. Let me know, Randy, enough of time. Rebecca is my bookkeeper, my timekeeper, whatever you want to call it. She knows the dates She's the one that keeps me straight on what's going on when, because I'm so scatterbrained that I can't keep up with nothing. But if you let me know when the next one or two is, whatever, I wouldn't mind trying to come up and check it out sometime. Bunker, great live, everyone. Had a great rest of your week. I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate y'all, and a lot of people chatting. That's the hardest part about the live is I don't know if I'm rambling too much or if I've given y'all any information y'all are wanting. So whenever y'all are chatting, it's a little easier for me to chat because I'll go down a rabbit hole in a second. So Eddie G says, somebody says Eddie G. I think he's talking about another YouTube guy. Outstanding video. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. And I'll put out the video. It'll probably be Thursday morning. It's going to be about the recap from last year's Atlanta. Got a couple of things extra in there. Got some stuff I went over these ropes for the St. Louis that I'd done 15 years ago for St. Louis show. And I plan on being there. If any of y'all are going to be there, let me know. If any of y'all are interested in a shirt, I'm not trying to hawk them or nothing because everybody I've already said they wanted one. I've got one, but I've got an order coming and anything I got left, if I have them before I go to the convention, I'm going to bring what I've got left there. So, but anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out, and we'll catch you on next Tuesday. If y'all get a chance, please swing by, and I'll check y'all out on the next one. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us, and I'll catch y'all next week.